What's up everybody, Sonar here, and since it's the end of the 2019 season, I wanted to go over my 2019 tour boat, which happens to be the Nitro Z19. It's a 19-foot rig, which is a little bit abnormal for tour level competition. Most people think that you have to have a 20 or 21-foot rig to be able to compete at that higher level. Well, it just so happens that I had a pretty good year out of this boat right here, and so I wanted to do a review, kind of go over the features of it, how I have it rigged, and then ultimately what I think about it. Let's get started. All right guys, so we have to start off at the back of the boat where the whole powerhouse is on this boat. The Z19 is rated for a 200 horsepower Mercury engine. This right here is the brand new Mercury V8 4-stroke, 200 horsepower. And with 200 horsepower, this boat, and I think this is probably the most common question I get about the Z19, but this boat realistically, fully loaded, everything in this boat, full tank of gas, as much tackle as you can fit in here, 2 guys. I'm running about 62, 63, and sometimes a little bit more than that. But if you really want to max out your speed on this boat, you know, with a light load of tackle, half tank of gas, things like that, you can get it into that 66 mile-an-hour range, mid to high 60s. And I've even heard reports of guys in the high 60s and even creeping into the low 70s. Though I haven't experienced that, that's definitely something I've heard multiple times. So overall, the Mercury V8 200 horsepower does extremely well at pushing this boat, and it rides great. Next, you can see I've also got power pole blades on this. I've got a dual power pole system, essential for fishing the top level of the sport, really any level of the sport. They're just so important to me. I've got those attached to an Atlas jack plate, which is of course a hydraulic jack plate. You can adjust it on the fly, which is really important to me. And then moving forward, we've got the bilge area right here. I've got 4 Group 31 batteries in this boat. So a 19-foot boat, and it's got the full type of battery system that you'd expect to see in a 20 or 21 footer. And it's still got plenty of room for my power pole pumps, a charger, and everything else that you need in there. It's really not that cluttered. It's got plenty of room. So I know that most of these boats, if you buy them at Bass Pro Shops, they come with a 24-volt system. In that case, you have a lot of room in there, but they're fully capable of handling a 36-volt trolling motor system and a big cranking battery as well. And then moving forward here, we've actually got 2 different and very big storage containers on either side. You can see here, this is a molded tackle tray. It comes out, which is really nice. It's one of the features I really like about Nitro boats, is you can take this out to work on rigging underneath, work on the gas tank if you need to, or you can also just take it out to work on tackle, maybe exchange these trays. Sometimes I'll have a spare tray available to just switch from one boat to another, so on and so forth. If you have that type of situation, or if you're just working on tackle, you can take it out, work on tackle without having to take all of that gear out. So I love that feature. And of course, in the middle here, we've got the live well system. Nitro has an excellent live well system. It really does keep those fish fresh, healthy, and they stay very cool in this live well. It's insulated, it's got a pump out feature, it's got a recirculate feature, and of course, the water goes in. And then they've got switches on the side of the gunnel here that allow you to drain the system without having to pull any plugs under here. So really cool live well system. And in the middle, you can see that there's a ruler, just really easy to access. So moving forward, we've got the seats. Cockpit area is really comfortable. I love these seats on the Nitro. They're super comfy to ride in, even in rough weather. And one thing I like about Nitros is the fact that they sit a little bit higher. They're a little bit higher than other boats, which means that it's really easy to get out of these seats. You don't have to be a CrossFit guy to get out of these seats, which is really important for me. I don't have to be pulling on the wheel to pry myself out of the seats like I have in the past in those boats that have lower sitting seats. So Love the seats that they have in the Nitro, and behind them you can see there's actually a net location that is my favorite net storage system. It just kind of sits behind the passenger seat, and then the handle goes all the way behind the driver's seat. All right, so let's talk about the console. Of course, you got a great steering wheel here, and behind that I've actually got two little blinker trim systems. One is for the engine itself, the trim function on that, and then the other one is for the jack plate, the Atlas. And so really easy to use that. And again, the Atlas jack plate is clutch. It's super important to have a good hydraulic jack plate for me fishing tournaments, so I can make those easy adjustments. Of course, I got a spot for my power pole switch here at the console, and then you got the touch panel that operates all of your bilge, navigation lights, horn, and then of course your live well functions as well. So overall, really well thought out console design. Let's get inside the boat to talk about the bow and all the storage features up here. All right, so now we're inside the boat. This is where all the magic happens. This is where all the fishing tackle is really stored. This is where I spend 90% of my time. And let's start off with the cooler here on the Nitro. It's the biggest cooler that I've ever seen in a bass boat, and it's really probably the most well thought out design out there as far as the cooler and a trash can. It's removable. I absolutely love this feature. I don't know why more boats don't have that. And then inside you can see that there is a ton of room down there in that insulated cooler. You've even got this little removable insert for sandwiches and other things that you want to keep dry but still cool, and you got the plug down there. So overall, this is a great cooler. It has a ton of space. I actually have a little Yeti soft-sided cooler, square one, that I can fit in there, and also keep things cool and dry with that. And there's still plenty of space for everything else in there. So, and then on either side you can see we've got cup holders, tool holders. So I'll put things like bubble blade pliers in there, you know, cutters, and also put like dyes and stuff like that, or drinks, whatever you want to put in there. Pretty much fair game. All right, so now let's get into the tackle storage areas. Let's start off with the center here. Center box, of course, it's lift assisted with the gas pistons here. And inside you've got tons of space for all different types of tackle in here, and you've got these removable inserts that you can put in here to kind of keep everything separated. Works really good. I've really liked this system. The one thing that I have noticed with this this tackle area down here is on the Z19, I had to switch from a primarily 3700 style utility box system to a 3600 size utility box system to store most of my baits. And the reason for that is that the 3600s tend to fit a little bit better in here, but still overall, I had all the tackle that I could possibly need at every single event in this storage container. So let's put that back down. All right, so now let's talk about the rod lockers on either side. These are really special because they were designed with a ton of space in them. And so look in here, it is super deep, super wide, and it goes all the way to the front. I carried everything from spare trolling motors to spare electronics to, you know, all my Elastec soft plastics, everything in here, and still had plenty of room, and all my emergency gear as well. So this just essentially is just a huge box, and it's the same size on the rod locker side. And on this side we've got the rod locker. I've got to reinstall the actual organizer that I took out because I'd carry so many rods. I just want a you know, big open container here, but you can see it's stepped. You've got these different steps for your rods. It organizes them really well, and I've been able to hold more rods in this than I ever have in any other boat. So the amount of storage they have on both sides is just spectacular. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the bow of this boat. First off, you know, I came from a 20-foot boat that was just under 21 foot last year to fish the tour out of this 19-foot 4-inch boat. And I'm telling you, when I got on the bow of this boat, it actually felt bigger than the boat that I had previously. And I just felt way more comfortable. There was a lot more space, and just overall, they've done a really good job. They don't let the gunnels really encroach on the fishing space up here. It's got a wide beam and very comfortable front casting deck. And they've got a lot of well-used space up here by the foot pedal. I've got my power pull switches, of course, up and down. You've got a little organizer right here with a cup holder and tool holder. And then, of course, the Humminbird that I have up here. And I forgot to mention that at the console, I actually have a Humminbird Helix 9, as well as the front. The Helix 9 on the console is side imaging. The one on the bow is down imaging and all those other great features. So I'm selling this boat with those two Humminbird Helix units. This boat actually had 4 different units on it this year in 3 different brands, and it was all provided by bassboatelectronics.com, but I'm selling it with the 2 Helix units. So it can handle a ton of different electronics, just like you would rig out a bigger 20 or 21 foot boat. But you know, it handles any electronics you got very, very well. Finally, as far as the bow of the boat goes, I've got a 36 volt trolling motor. This is a Motor Guide X5. Great trolling motor. I've had a lot of luck with it. I actually put it on a quick release bracket, so I can switch between the X5 and the XI5, which has anchor mode technology. But overall, again, this boat, the Z19, handles either a 24 or 36 volt system, no problem. And I've got a 36 volt because, I mean, that's pretty much standard for fishing on tour. So overall, this is the casting deck. Let's get down and look at the trailer. All right, so I opted for a dual axle trailer on this. It's actually got dual brake system on it. And of course you got the swing away tongue on there. Really nice if you have a shorter garage or just need to get that out of the way. The thing that I really like about the trailers that Nitro offers is this step right here with this post. It really adds to the safety of this whole rig, being able to get in and out without having to worry about your balance or you know, a slick surface, because it's just really easy to get in and out of. Of course, it comes with a spare tire. And again, we've got a dual axle system here, Vortex hubs, really no maintenance you have to do for 100,000 miles. And it's just overall a really good trailer. I like the finish on it. It seems to be really durable and it stays in shape pretty well. And so that's pretty much it. All right, so now that I've given you an overview of this boat, let's do a little bit of my final thoughts on the Z19. First off, the one concern that I had this year going into the season was fishing out of a 19-foot boat, coming from a 20-foot boat, and really noticing a huge difference in the ride quality in rough conditions. We're going to a lot of big lakes that have a lot of really rough conditions at times, including like Lake Champlain, Sam Rayburn, those type of fisheries. You know, your overall ride experience is a big factor. So that was a big concern for me, but overall the Z19 did extremely well. You know, I talked to the people at Nitro and kind of voiced that concern at the beginning of the season, and they assured me that this boat actually runs extremely well in rough water with this NVT hull that really does cut through the waves very well. And I gotta tell you, I'd put it up against most 20-foot rigs out there, and so I never had an issue. I mean, I made the run from Plattsburgh to Ticonderoga both days on the FLW Tour that I fished, and never had a second thought about making that run. And I've been in waves as big as 5 foot out of this boat and never felt uncomfortable or unsafe. So overall, it gets an A+ as far as ride quality. Overall value just can't be beat. This is probably the best starter tournament rig, but is also fully capable of fishing the top level, as I proved this year. And so, you know, that is not an issue at all. The value is here. you got a lot of great features, you got a fully capable tournament rig at a very, very good price. So very impressed with that. And another thing that is really impressive about this boat, and I forgot to mention it back there, is the fact that it has a 50-gallon gas tank. So you're not limited as far as the range that this boat can go. So overall, between the rough water ride quality, the overall value, and the way that you can rig this to be a fully capable tournament rig, the Nitro Z19 gets my seal of approval, and I absolutely love this boat. So overall, the Nitro Z19 gets a thumbs up from me, and for more information, you can go to nitro.com or visit sonarfishing.com. You can ask me any questions by just sending me a message there. And if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and remember, this boat's for sale. So if you're interested in a used Nitro Z19, of course, just drop a message below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys out on the water.